The new COVID.gov website, redirecting from covidtest.gov, promotes the lab leak theory claiming COVID-19, this is Forbes magazine, the way they wrote it, claiming COVID-19 emerged from an accidental leak at the Wuhan National Biosafety Laboratory. It draws from the Republican-led House Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic Report. After action review of the COVID-19 pandemic, the lesson learned and a path forward, this contracts with a March 2020 National Nature Medicine report, which states, we do not believe that any type of laboratory-based scenario is plausible, supporting the Wuhan market origin. And then there's a bunch of other guys. The update said critiques of Biden's administration pandemic response, stating vaccines undoubtedly saved millions of people's lives by diminishing likelihood, severe disease and death, but were exaggerating effectiveness. It also claims masks, mandates, social distancing, and lockdowns cause more harm than good. Is this a clip, Rob?
This is Anthony Fauci, the first time that he publicly denied that the COVID virus originated from the Wuhan lab and says it could have only come from nature.
Go for it.
Yeah, please.
I wanted to ask Dr. Fauci, could you address these suggestions or concerns that this virus was somehow man-made, possibly came out of a laboratory in China? You studied this virus. What are the prospects of that?
There was a study recently that we can make available to you where a group of highly qualified evolutionary virologists looked at the sequences there and the sequences in bats as they evolve, and the mutations that it took to get to the point where it is now is totally consistent with a jump of a species from an animal to a human. So
that's just professional double talk.
Oh my God!
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Authors right now, but we can make that
even an eighth grader now listens to that, and the BS alarm goes off.
You have to get.
So, Vinny, what do you know about it? What's going on?
And if you don't mind, Pat, because I'm going to kind of combine.
This is nice
Cuomo
work by the
and
White House, by the way.
Oh yeah, well, what you basically, and again, who are we just talking about? Who's our biggest threat, Tom? Adversary, whatever you want to call him, with trade? China, right? This is again China being able to do whatever the hell they want to do with zero accountability. So in my opinion, that when people say deep state and all these players inside to keep them shielded, that's what it is. And we already know about Joe Biden and his relationship with China and Hunter and all that stuff. But basically, it came from a lab. All right. I'm sick. I'm tired of this whole still lab leak theory. Okay, at what point are we just going to say, we know that it came from there, but the real question is going to be, did you guys do it on purpose? Were you guys pissed at Trump? Did you guys want to shut down the world against trade? Who did it? Because this freaking Fauci, it drives me crazy because he still has...
Stick to facts.
Stick to facts.
What do we know?
So here's where we go. I'm going to start with Cuomo too. Is that okay, Pat?
Yeah, go for it.
So Andrew Cuomo, by the way, the author...
You mean Chris Cuomo or Andrew Cuomo?
Andrew Cuomo.
Okay.
Author of the book, American Crisis Leadership Lessons from the COVID-19 Pandemic. He's been referred to the DOJ for criminal charges, okay? He's being hit for obstructing a congressional investigation into COVID nursing home deaths in New York, okay? And this is all alleged. His office covered up the true death toll, altered state reports, and lied to the DOJ and the public, all while pushing a policy that forced COVID-positive patients into nursing homes, leading to deaths of thousands of innocent seniors. Now, the Oversight Committee Chairman, James Comer, has been referred this to Pam Bondi, and he said, and I quote, Andrew Cuomo is a man of history of corruption and deceit, now caught red-handed lying to Congress during the Select Committee's investigation into COVID-19 nursing home tragedy in New York. Let's be clear, guys, you're lying to Congress is what James Comer is saying, that this is all happening, right? And then right in the middle of all this, these are facts, Mr. Anthony Fauci, while America was shut down and locked in and scared to breathe, his net worth doubled. All right, guys, going from 7.6 million to over 15 million between 2019 and 2022. Okay, he made $4 million in salary and government perks, raked in $2 million in royalties and speaking gigs, and pulled in another $1.6 million in investment gains. Oh, and by the way, his wife, who was recently stepped down or let go of Robbie. I don't know if she was fired or not. She brought in $1.6 million from her own government job, all while Americans lost their businesses, buried family members, all right, and were silenced if they spoke up, all right? And he was the highest paid federal employee in the government. And then, think about it, Joe Biden, yes or no, with the pen, if it was auto pen or not, Pat, gave this guy the green light to walk and never be prosecuted or nothing to happen to him. I think that there needs to be a full investigation. Please find out if that auto pen was actual auto pen and go after them, because this is what pisses me off, Pat. And this is one for, I want everybody to know this. Are we going to let them slide for what they did? Are we going to let Fauci, Biden, the White House, Cuomo, or even Chris, and I love Chris to death. Do you remember the video that Chris put out, Pat? Chris Cuomo put out a video on CNN, and he said, you know what the biggest threat to enemy to America is? It's the fellow Americans. How are we going to let, you mind if I play this? Play this clip.
Think about this. In a world of threats and tyrants and terror, you know what our biggest enemy is in America? Our fellow Americans. The pandemic is dispositive proof of that. The number of new COVID cases going down. Deaths. Did you know that deaths this year already surpassed 2020's? 352,000. Now we're higher than that. And we have vaccines. How can we be dying more after we have what keeps you from dying?
Okay, Robert, you can stop it because it keeps going on. How are we going to let everything that they did to us? They destroyed the country. They destroyed the economy. They locked us down. They were telling us, get the vaccine, put this freaking experimental drug in your body. Fauci was behind all of it, and all of them, and then not everybody's gonna walk. Nobody's gonna be held accountable. I want us to stop and say, no. Before we move on to the next thing, I want accountability, gain of function. Fauci lied in front of Congress over and over and over, and people are dead because of him. Okay, and we're just supposed to say, okay, because he got a preemptive pardon, he's gonna walk. And even Andrew Cuomo, all these people, they all lied, and people lost their lives. And it pisses me off that people are just on to the next thing. Something has to be done, Pat. And if that is auto pen, if Pam Bondi and they're referring and James Cuomo referring, find out if that thing was actually happening and undo the freaking Fauci pardon and go after him. I think, Tom, isn't that only fair?
Yeah, and I think the original topic here, the White House pushing lab leak, the site, and putting facts and history and items, and then criticizing the Biden administration, criticizing the response. And I think the lab leak the White House has put out, the White House is not kicking the can down the road. Now they've published, this is our point of view. And now the question is, will there ever be, investigations, hearings, or prosecution? Well, the guy at the middle of it has got a pardon. So
yeah, but
what do you do with that guy?
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. This lab leak theory, when are we going to stop and say, okay, we know it came from Wuhan?
Well, we're making progress, though.
Yeah, but this is trying to get held accountable, even if they say it came from this lab.
Let me tell you. So let me tell you what. Okay, so do you think China's going to be held accountable for it?
Nope.
Tell me why.
That we owe them too much. They have all these people, all these deep state people are in their pockets.
Why else?
Why won't they be held accountable?
Right now.
I mean, to me, those are the two things. They're protected. In our government, they're protected. They were promised they're never going to get in trouble. And we owe them too much money.
What else is it, though? We're also in the middle of a negotiation?
Trade war?
Yeah. So to me, the timing of it, now, one angle to think about it is if you get 10 whistleblowers from the Wuhan lab, you bring them out, and you call China and you say, hey, just want to let you know, the world is about to lose trust in you. I got 10 whistleblowers. They're protected. They're here with me. I'm not going to give you the names. They're all about to go live next week. Stuff like this happens with politics, by the way. I'm not telling you anything that's out of the ordinary, right? So I don't know. If there is a way to use, you can never let a crisis go to waste, right? Rahm Emanuel. If they can use this crisis as a negotiating point, to help the economy or help a next deal, but you really need some proof. You really need some guys on the inside. You really need some recon, sending some CIA folks to get in there and get some real intel. If you have that, that's big. Like, when Trump, tied with relationship Roy Cohn and some of these other guys, that's what their specialty was. The specialty was what?
Blackmail.
Bribery, blackmail,
Yep.
some of these guys. So I don't know. I think you can use this crisis as a way to further advance the agenda of negotiating with China. I just don't know if we have all the intel or not. I'm not on the inside. I'm just a business guy. Adam.
I love what Vinny's saying because, you talk about this all the time, that how everyone has a hill they're willing to die on. I don't wake up every day thinking about what happened during COVID. If anything, I'm like, ugh, we're moving past that. But I appreciate that people like Vinny are like, no. Whoa, what's going on here, buddy? Mr. Fauci, not Dr. Fauci. Yep. Because I totally understand why people have such a lack of respect and appreciation for this guy. Now, he's a darling of the left. I still see it. Tell me if you see this. I still see people in masks zombie walking these streets. Yeah. What is happening? As if that mask is doing anything for you, Bill. So I totally appreciate that. I remember, speaking of the lab leak, I remember when it was just a crazy, kooky conspiracy theory. And then this thing happened. Can we play this?
Can you rap or no?
We can. Okay. We're commenting.
All right. So Jon Stewart goes on.
I remember this.
Stephen Colbert, after Stephen Colbert did a mariachi samba dance
for vaccines,
with all the vaccines.
To get your vaccine. And mind
this
you,
whole thing.
but before you play it, remember, guys.
So what year is this when we play this?
This is 2022, I'm assuming. What year is this?
And remember, if you talked
what year
about...
Is this, Rob?
If you
2021.
2021.
And remember this, if you, what we're doing now, if we did this during COVID, they would shut down the channel. Think about that. They would shut down the channel.
Absolutely right.
Which it boggles my mind
You're
that they were
absolutely
suppressing it, and now they're getting away with murder.
We used to
literally.
have conversations about, should we talk about this? Should we not talk about this? I was like,
Yeah, you can't
is
say
it
the
worth
V
the
word.
channel?
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, guys, everything okay? We're having a discussion.
Yeah.
But I remember this dance from Stephen Colbert.
Well, look how uncomfortable he is right now.
Watch this. Go ahead, Stephen Colbert with Jon Stewart.
We owe a great debt of gratitude to science. Science has, in many ways, helped ease the suffering of this pandemic, which was more than likely caused by science.
Here we go.
Look how uncomfortable.
All right.
Look how uncomfortable he is. Because he works for the machine.
And that's kind of...
Hold on one second.
Yeah, look at your producer.
No.
Hold on.
Now, listen.
Getting very uncomfortable.
It's coffee. I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't do that to you.
I'm
so
all for spit takes,
what do you mean by that? Do you mean like perhaps there's a chance that this was created in a lab? There's an investigation.
A chance?
Well,
oh my
if there's
God.
evidence,
Here
I'd
we
love to
go.
hear it. I
There's
just
a
don't know.
novel respiratory coronavirus overtaking Wuhan, China. What do? Oh, you know who we could ask? The Wuhan novel respiratory coronavirus lab. The disease is the same name as the lab. That's just a little too weird, don't you think? And then they ask those scientists, they're like, how did this... So wait a minute, you work at the Wuhan respiratory coronavirus lab. How did this happen? And they're like, a pangolin kissed a turtle.
It was a bat that I was eating in a wet market.
The name of your lab, if you look at the name, let me see your business card. Show me your business card. Oh, I work at the coronavirus lab in Wuhan.
You can pause it right now.
Such a good take by Jon Stewart. I mean,
and you nailed it, Pat. Like for negotiation for the trade thing, but I feel, my opinion, that one of the reasons it was released was because Trump was being so hard on them on trade and putting their foot to the fire.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, and it just drives me crazy that we've gotten all these promises from Epstein's list. By the way, Trump was shot in the head. We know more about that FSU guy in 2 hours than we know anything about Thomas Crooks, the guy with 6 cell phones communicating with Ukraine. Same thing with Ryan Ralph, Ukraine, all these connections. All right, no COVID answers, no nothing answers. It's just as the average American, it really, really disappoints me that these people are getting away with it.
I just fully agree. We need to hold China accountable. Like I said before in the previous segment, make China pay. The one thing I will say that COVID did do for me, everything like this, is that it completely pierced the bubble that I was potentially living in, where I was like, what do you mean the mainstream media would lie to you?
Yeah.
I had no idea what was going to happen with the Yetis. I had no idea. When our team said, Pat, they're not going to last, like this, all of it was gone. Next thing you know, we were swamped by messages of, Pat, can we get additional Yetis to do collaboration with Valuetainment and Future Looks Bright? The next one is here. Now, keep in mind, these will go very fast. Rob, if you want to play this clip, we got different ones. These are based on what many of you guys asked. This is the Future Looks Bright Yeti, whether it's a pink one, whether it's the red one, whether it's the Tiffany blue or the white. These seems to be, this one seems to be, it's sick. It's absolutely sick. Yeah, or even a smaller one that you got. And on top of this, Rob, if you can also go to the website, there are, I think it's 10 coolers that we got. A couple people asked for
Only
coolers.
10?
I just got 10 of them. We're like, let's just see if there's a market for it.
I guarantee you that they'll be gone before we're
they
done
asked,
with the episode.
I said, let's get 10
Those
and
are
let's see how it does.
sick.
Look at that. Look how sick that is with Future Looks Bright right on top of it.
So badass.
So VTmerch.com, go place your order. Be the first to get it because these things will go very quickly. Again, it is limited supply and they're absolutely sick. When you go to work and you have this Valuetainment logo and the Future Looks Bright, it looks insane. Okay, again, go to VTmerch.com, place your order with the Yeti collaboration.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.